Be joined by our friend Kevin Ryans out of St. Louis. Obviously, covers Columbia right down the road as the Missouri Tigers played in the marquee game of college football as College Game Day was in Vanderbilt. Kevin, always good to see you, my friend. First off, let's just talk big picture about this Missouri football team. Obviously, the game is one thing, and the quarterback is another. So let's split the conversations. Let's talk about the game at first and what you saw there, and being able to put up a great fight in Las Vegas.
Yeah, defense balled out, gave their team a great chance to go out there and get a win on the road against a top 10 team. Very unfortunate with the injury to Beau Pribula, but then Matt Zollers came into the game and I thought looked really good for Mizzou, was very poised, had a couple of freshman moments there towards the end of the game, had the handoff to Jamal Roberts, ended up being a fumble, and I believe Vandy scored the go-ahead touchdown on that ensuing drive. And then with about 20 seconds to go, he had a intentional grounding that cost Mizzou 10 seconds there at the end. So, yeah, I thought Mizzou played as good as they could considering the circumstances, and really gave themselves a chance to win. Really, Diego Pavia really wasn't much of a threat to Mizzou. Good job on that defensive front, who's had a great season all year long. And so, yeah, a tough deal for MU. Two chances here in the last 3 weeks to be able to get marquee wins against top 10 teams. And it's going to follow Eli Drinkwitz and Mizzou when the conversation comes up. They cannot get the win when it counts. And it's an unfortunate storyline that they have to deal with, but that's part of the job, right? You take all the criticism where it comes, and one of the criticisms for Mizzou is that they're not able to get those wins against those top 10 opponents.
Yeah, and so much of this feels really outside of their control, including quarterback, and this goes far beyond what happened on Saturday. You go all the way back to game one. Sam Horn and Beau Pribula are battling for QB1. Then that question gets answered just by the mere fact that Sam Horn gets injured in the first game of the season. Pribula steps up. He plays phenomenally. Now this team's top 15. Now he goes down in the marquee game of the country. To me, it just seems like haunted might be too strong of a word, but it just feels like this team is just a bit cursed here, considering the expectations and where they were trending just 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, the bad luck is there, Gerhard, for sure. I mean, and if you ask a Mizzou fan, this has been their life, right? They get really close, but then something happens, or and it's unfortunate for them to deal with that, but that's the case. Questionable play calling there, going for it. On fourth down, obviously it's the right decision to go and try to get the touchdown there. But they run it twice, and then on third down they throw it, and then they go for another quarterback option. And wouldn't you know, both injuries to both Sam Horn and Beau Pribula, quarterback options. You wonder, you have guys like Jamal Roberts and Ahmad Hardy. Hardy's having a fantastic season. He's your bulldozing running back. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago against South Carolina, he had an incredible touchdown where he spun off a defender. He thought he was tackled, spun off a defender, and was able to get into the end zone anyway. Yeah. How come you're not using your bulldozing running back over at the 2-yard line to try to get those couple of yards for the end zone, or Jamal Roberts? Instead, you go with Beau Pribula. He gets sandwiched in between a couple of defenders, and there goes his leg and his ankle. So unfortunate for Beau Pribula, unfortunate for Mizzou.
Absolutely. Coming in for Beau Pribula was Matt Zollers. And I'll give the kid his flowers because he came in and he performed really well for 14 of 23, a little more than 100 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions on the game. What did you make of his performance being able to step in against one of the best defenses in the SEC and one of the top teams in the country?
For a true freshman, what a tough environment to be able to go out there and perform in. And I thought he handled himself very well. Other than those couple of moments that I mentioned off the top, I thought he was really good. He made great throws down the stretch. He gave Mizzou a great chance by the way that he kept his poise and was able to drive down the field using the arm. The arm talent is where I see it. I mean, it's so there. You could tell by just watching him that he can really sling it, and that's a good sign for Mizzou. Obviously, a lot of things factor into the college football roster making these days, but if you're able to keep a guy like Matt Zollers in your program, I think that's a really good foundation. Knowing that, you got to, well, for one thing, Beau Pribula. Not quite sure what's going to happen with him moving forward, especially after the injury. And then Sam Horn is going to be playing baseball for the Dodgers organization. So, Matt Zollers is a very capable, as he showed, to go into a big environment and perform well. And I think Mizzou should be very confident moving forward in seeing how he can develop and grow.
Yeah, he's definitely an athlete, and you can see that as well. And that's the kind of quarterbacks Drink likes, is athletic quarterbacks. You just mentioned it. Sam Horn will take his talents to another professional sport in baseball. We got a chance to hear from Coach Drink about his team after the morale from the Beau Pribula injury.
I thought our guys really rallied. I thought, I think the morale and energy got kind of taken from us, the gut punch on the missed field goal, because we'd had the ball down there twice and come away with 0 points. But they fought back and gave us a chance. So in the fourth.
Kevin, this feels like late in an NBA season when a team loses like a Kevin Durant or a team loses like a Steph Curry, and they're going to be gone for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And yes, they will field a basketball team out there, but 30 points, 25 points, a couple of steals, and most importantly, that leadership in the locker room is now gone. Let me ask you from a football parallel perspective. I know Matt Zollers played well there at Vanderbilt. This team has a great defense, and we led by Zion Young and a few other guys, probably one of the best running backs in the entire country. But do you feel like this is a lost season for this football team considering what's ahead, or do you still give them, a puncher's chance?
Yeah, I think their chances now are pretty slim to make the college football playoff. Their wins this season really aren't much, other than the Auburn win. I thought that was their most impressive one of the year. Kansas, Louisiana, UMass, Central Arkansas. Without those top victories, it's going to be hard for Mizzou to be able to make its case to go into the college football playoff. But I will say, the opportunities are still there for them. Texas A&M in a couple of weeks. That's the game there. You almost think that Mizzou has to win out. But if they can have 2 wins there, the 2 games you're spotlighting, I can see Oklahoma there as well. If you can win those 2 games convincingly too, and obviously it doesn't have to be huge wins, but you were out there competing like you did against Alabama, like you did against Vanderbilt, then you can make your case if you win out that the Mizzou's still maybe one of the top 12 or 13 teams in the country. But looking at it right now, I mean, it would have to take a lot for Mizzou, even with those victories. It would have to take a lot coming from that top half of the AP top 25 to really stake their claim, unfortunately. The Tigers have a really nice season so far in terms of wins, but like I said before, the top tier victories, they haven't been there, and that's been the story of the Eli Drinkwitz era. 1-9 against AP top 10, 7-16 against the AP top 25. You're not going to shake it until it happens.
Yeah, and I feel like the saving grace, though, is if you look at that schedule, Texas A&M is number 3 in the country, but besides LSU, who just fired their head coach, I mean, you go back to the Arkansas game, they look beatable, and they have looked beatable for a good portion of the season. They played a lot of close games, and then you look at the other game that you mentioned at Oklahoma. Oklahoma just lost at home to Ole Miss, so if there is some saving grace there, I feel like some of these teams, could have some cracks.
And Mizzou has shown that they can compete with the top of the country. It's not like they got blown out at Alabama. I was at the game last year in Tuscaloosa where they weren't even competitive in that game. This year was very different. I know it was on home field, but the talent level was not that much of a disparity between Alabama and Mizzou. The Vanderbilt was the top 10 team in the country. If you put them side by side with Mizzou, you're watching football for the first time, you would think that those teams were pretty equal. So the talent level is there for Missouri, and they can compete with anyone in the country. But it's just about closing, and that's been part of their troubles against these top teams.
Absolutely. One final thing for you. Want to spotlight one of the kids that's actually from your area, and Kevin Coleman Jr. And he's had 3 or 4 games this season where he has been absolutely electric, and he really exploded once again. Missouri and great receivers is nothing new. Obviously, Luther Burden just a year ago really exploded. What'd you make of the hometown kid, the way he played in Nashville?
Alupide as well. They're talented freshmen that they didn't use much in that Vanderbilt game. You wonder if they would have used him, how much that would have changed the game. But Kevin Coleman Jr., he's a St. Louis and St. Mary's High School here in South St. Louis. Just a fantastic player for them. He got in the transfer portal. He's been able to make his name, has good chemistry with we had good chemistry with Beau Pribula and seemingly was on the same page with Matt Zollers. They connected a few times in that game, particularly on that last drive where Mizzou was trying to go out and tie Vanderbilt there at the end. Actually made the catch at the 1-inch line. That if his body is a little bit more into the end zone, I think that ball is there. In fact, I think the football was caught and past the line there, but I think he juggled it a little bit, came down with it ultimately, but it was short of the end zone. So Kevin Coleman has shown that he can make spectacular plays, and it could be a huge game player. Think about the Kansas game, how much he wrecked that game as well for Mizzou, a big rivalry win. Kevin Coleman Jr. has been fantastic for Mizzou and Eli Drinkwitz, and I think they're happy with the production that he's been able to give.
Absolutely, as they should be. He has had a monster season so far and a monster game there in Nashville. Thank you so much, Kevin, for your time here on Southeast Sports Plus.
I'm happy to join you guys. Thank you so much for having me once again.
Absolutely.